What's shaking and baking, all you hip cool cats? My name is Kit, and welcome one and all to Chicago Reacts. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that ring bell notification. That way, all of you are made aware when we upload new content onto our YouTube channel. But today, we have ourselves a fun YouTube video to react to. It's from the YouTube channel WarriorTier. And the video in question today that we're going to be reacting to is Timeline of the 40K Universe by Trazyn the Infinite. So I'm guessing it's going to be narrated by Trazyn the Infinite. Now, for those of you who don't remember, WarriorTier, I think, is a fantastic YouTube channel. They did that very heart-wrenching story of Ogren. I will try and keep my pausing and commentary to a minimum because, well, obviously with the Ogren, it was only about like maybe 8 to maybe 10 minutes long. This one is a whopping 40 minutes, so it should be a interesting journey and perspective through the eyes of a Xenos like Trazyn the Infinite. But I am curious to see just what they do and what they produce. Also, again, folks, if this is the kind of content you like, please be sure to comment in the comment section below. Please be sure to give a like. Please give us your feedback. We have a Discord community as well. Because without all of you, this channel would not exist, and your commentary, your feedback, your support is really helping us build up Chicago Reacts. And for that, we cannot thank you enough. And I'm really excited for this because it's very rare where I get to react to Warhammer 40K content. And as a side note, you know, in regards to characters not associated to the Imperium of Mankind, Trazyn the Infinite holds a special place in my heart due to his museum collection. And, you know, my grandfather who recently passed away, when I was a kid, over the weekends we would go to the museum, the Field Museum, and see all the ancient exhibits and the dinosaurs and all the galleries. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go, how Trazyn will be narrating this. So, folks, if you haven't grabbed yourself a tasty snack or a tasty beverage, please do so right now. And since I'm in charge of the ones and twos, let's delve deep into the world of Warhammer 40K, the timeline of the 40K universe, narrated by Trazyn the Infinite from the YouTube channel WarriorTier. The original link is in the description box below, so please support the original content creators. Why? Because it's the right thing to do, and Trazyn the Infinite will permanently put you in his museum if you don't. Okay? So there you go. Let's get ready to enjoy this video. In a 3, a 2, a 1.
My life's work, my museum, our gallery. Within these halls sits the galaxy's most comprehensive collection of artifacts in existence. I have spent my long years cataloging the entire culture of all the beings I could, from the dawn of time to the present day. Within these halls are libraries, containing the last known words of countless races who have been cast to the harsh, uncaring winds of time. Truth be told, there are more galleries in my museum than a mortal could wish to visit in several lifetimes. Each hall is dedicated to a great empire and their achievements, but also their faults and inevitable demise. The history of the universe is filled with such empires, their names forever carved on the steel of time. There are others who accomplished little with their gift of life, their existences being short, painful, blighted tales. The tales of history are only reserved for those who earn the right to write them. I will show the halls of my library to guide you on the story of all of time.
All right. Holy cow. WarriorTier. I don't know how many of your team members or how many of you decided to set up this intro, but it's already drawn me in. And whoever you had narrate Trazyn, again, it's the name already appeared up, so duh. I gotta. Hopefully, there'll be an end credit. I get to read their name again. Apologies. I'll read your name again. The narrator. Hopefully, there's end credits. Um, but wow, and it's kind of hitting a little close to home because when I was a kid, I would ask my grandpa about the museum and who is in there, and sometimes we talk about some of the fair because in the Field Museum there's an Egypt exhibit, there's a hall dedicated to dinosaurs, and so many other wonderful galleries. And my grandpa said that you know only certain people can earn the right to leave a mark in history, and that kind of hit at the old heartstrings right there. But I want to say to all of you watching, even you can make your mark. We all can make our mark in history. Never, ever back down. So there you go. All right, Trazyn. I don't know what kind of weird tricks you got. I want to let you know we're ready, but already this is a great video intro. It's the music, the narration, the imagery. It's incredible. It's top tier for WarriorTier.
As we start from the dawn of all existence, density, temperature, a singularity, initiating the expansion. Primordial gas and cosmic dust sent into eternity to become everything we know or ever will. Gravity is the key to it all. Gravity birthed the stars. It connects the galaxies, guiding them in motion to their inevitable orbits. That haunting cosmic ballet played out over infinite millennia, forever churning in the restless flow of time, locked in the embrace of gravitational unity. Vast ages of time pass. Ancient evolution forms in the stars. Gravity guides worlds beyond count into existence. As the stars collapsed and more were driven into the infinite, the impossible happened.
Apologies for the pause. Salty discharge. Disregard any tears you might see, but um they redesigned it now, but in the 90s, late 90s, in front of the dinosaur exhibit, or what would be prehistoric life, there was before the doors would open, the video would play like welcome to this exhibit about life on Earth before man, and it would do a countdown in reverse. And obviously it would start from modern civilization going all the way down to the beginning of prehistory, and my grandpa would take me here, take me there. That'd be the first spot I would go. Wow. Whew, didn't expect already 3 minutes in, hitting at the heartstrings. And it's Warhammer 40k. What? The music really draws you in. I will try and keep my pausing at the minimum, because this narration is absolutely beautiful, especially for Warhammer 40k. Games Workshop, Warhammer, seriously, start respecting the fans more and allowing them to contribute. All right, I'm pretty sure there's a middle ground. You could talk with your legal team, because no fan or YouTube page is going to say, oh, I could do whatever I want with Warhammer 40k, because no, that's not how things work. But seriously, Warhammer, Games Workshop, you have a dedicated fan base. Respect them. And wow, just incredible.
the first true life in the universe emerged, victorious, in
Yeah.
an arms race of evolutionary barbarism. I suppose I should introduce the Immaterium, the Sea of Souls, the Ether. It has many names. However, it is generally referred to as the Warp, an alternate dimension that has existed as long as the universe itself. Made up of pure psychic energy and raw emotions, the warp is endless, unpredictable, and terribly dangerous to those who cannot harness its power. The first conscious life was the star vampires, self-aware entities that appeared in the void between nowhere and nothing. Beings of great power that consumed the energies of stars, feeding on the life force of the planets themselves.
Also known as the Catan, the Void Dragon, the Deceiver, the Stranger. I forgot the fourth one. I apologize.
These parasites
Oh, the Nightbringer.
do not differ from any life in the universe. All life desires the same outcome: energy consumption and safety for their offspring. They would, with time, be known as the Catan. The cursed reptilian Old Ones scraped their primal forms onto the shores of worlds, long dead before even we Necrons evolved to stand upright.
Huh. I'm not sure if that's official Warhammer 40k art. I know the Old Ones have been described as reptilian, but again, Warhammer Fantasy fans, Warhammer 40k fans, hey, put down your weapons. Hold on, I need a little peace talk here. But I think it was one time acknowledged that the Slan, who are with the lizard men, were described as similar as looking as the Old Ones were. So it is interesting, and especially in Warhammer Fantasy, in that realm where life was all created, there were entities known as the Old Ones as well. So are they one and the same? I know that there was some debate that Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k were set in the same universe, but now it's been decided that they're two different entities altogether. Hey, I'm talking to you. Talking to you, buddy. I need a detailed explanation.
The first true sentient beings to cross the vast reaches of the galaxy. They were the first to climb the long trail of evolution and self-awareness. Their ceaseless advances placed them at the top of the pyramid in this galaxy. They traveled through the stars like dust travels on the breeze, and even built what younger races would call the Webway. Through the Webway, the Old Ones seeded life on hundreds of worlds. In their wake, they birthed countless untold species and cultures. Life was cruel to our species. I need not tell you that. Evolving upon a cursed world, falling victim to the scorching heat of our nearest star, withering our bodies and lives. Our suffering evolved our culture and history. We built our empire despite the struggle and endless pain. We were worthy of the gifts the stars had shown to the others.
Oh my
Our
goodness.
leaders met with the Old Ones. We
You know, this might be, again, creative input by said author or illustrator, showing what the WarriorTier looked like before they became Necrons. But they look a little bit like the Tau. I could be wrong. I probably am. Audience, are the Necron and Tau related?
begged for the cure to death, to show us the secrets of immortality. They refused us, refused our desire for life. And, in their ignorance, they doomed themselves. There was no choice for us. We waged war against the tyrants. Countless generations ground to powder beneath the heel of the greedy and the vicious. Even with our unified empire, even with the might of countless worlds and millions of genius warsmiths, the strength of our dynasties was not enough to defeat the Old Ones.
You could hear it in Trazyn's voice, his disdain for the Old Ones. And look, if I was the WarriorTier, just seeing it through their perspective, they have a right to live too, and they're dying. They need help. Were the Old Ones that arrogant and blind?
The war was lost. The greatest defeat being that we were still cursed to weak, frail lives. The Old Ones banished us to the edges of the galaxy. They forced us into exile on our home world. It was then that the Catan came with their offer.
Oh no.
The ancient beings of the cosmos had appeared.
Oh no.
They came as gods, promising the gifts we desperately sought. We were all fools to believe them. After the agreements were signed, our people were put in chains and marched into the furnaces. As our flesh and blood was ripped from our bodies, we became the machine. We were betrayed. The Catan. Those traitorous sun-eating dogs feasted on the souls of a whole race.
No.
An entire culture. How tragic, then, that the ambassador for the Catan was named the Deceiver, but our translators misunderstood and believed its name was the Messenger.
Oh, that is so devious. All right, Warhammer. Okay, especially those that have, a Necron army. And Trazyn, by the way, you're not throwing in your own bias in here. The only reason why I just said that is because occasionally from time to time when I've reacted to Warhammer 40k content, I forget which video it was, but I made an insulting remark towards the Death Guard and Nurgle. And and somebody who likes our YouTube channel, I guess, changed their profile and named themselves Nurgle and said, "Hey, I heard you were talking crap about us." So, Trazyn, are you throwing in your own perspective, your own bias here? Okay, so anyways, but real quick, to those who have played Necrons or more familiar with Necron lore, did the Deceiver go by the name the Messenger? I mean, how much of the Necron society or WarriorTier society was tricked by the Star Gods? Type it in the comment section below.
The God War, the breaking of the void, the war in heaven. 5 million years of hate and flame. The Old Ones were driven back by the combined force of the Catan and us, their steel slaves. Wherever we Necron tread, life fades like a distant spark in a cold night. The Old Ones, those fools, they grew desperate, creating the Eldar to help them in their losing war. A race of decadent, hedonistic artists to fight steel gods. Fools. They created the fierce Krork, a species that thrives on war and the desire for war. Little did they know of the plague they were creating.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Excuse me. Is that what they looked like before? Or is that someone just being creative? Because I think it's even been acknowledged, I think, in one Warhammer 40k novel. Again, audience, I need you to correct me on this, because if this is just something from Reddit or fan theory, I need immediate correction. So that means someone who's an expert, now's your time to shine. I don't care if you're at a funeral, a wedding, about to be executed in prison, about to be served papers to go to jail, or about to go overseas and serve in the front lines. You're about to go catfishing or fishing. You're about to go skydiving. Stop what you're doing right now. Yell at the top of your lungs. Now's my time to shine. If you're an expert on Warhammer 40K lore, I think there was an excerpt from, I think it was about Necrons, and it had deals Trazyn the Infinite, where in his museum, somebody or there was a remark or there was a passage said about a creature that looked like an orc, but looked like it was wearing Eldar armor or something like that. But it didn't quite look like an orc, but it was an orc. If I'm wrong on this, now's your time to shine and correct me on this. What the hell? Because if that's a freaking orc, and that's what they look like, did the old ones purposely want to make sure that the orcs would get stupid? Or not stupid, but simple? Sorry, orcs. Sorry, orcs.
And on a small habitable world, it was said that they also seeded baseline primate life. As the last defense strongholds are on the verge of collapse, after we have flayed the minds and spirits of countless old ones, they formed their last doomed battle line. As the old ones were pushed into oblivion, Zarek, the Silent King, led our armies against our slave masters. We turned on the Catan. The Catan were weakened by the war against the Old Ones and the threats of the Eldari and Krork armies. The Catan were shattered, defeated and placed in our stasis chambers, made to watch from containment as the race they sought to enslave freed themselves. The mighty Catan were not much more than prisoners, forced to watch us live on despite their evil desire.
Now, real quick, again, conflicting reports, because for those of you who remember, if the Emperor had text-to-speech device, when he talked about this, he mentioned how the trickster Eldar god helped convince the other WarriorTier, or not WarriorTier, but the Star Gods, to go against each other, to where there was 4 remaining: the Nightbringer, the Stranger, the Void Dragon, and the Deceiver. If I'm missing something, or there's, again, I need an expert to step up. Now's your time to shine. You could be at a wedding, at a funeral, be sentenced to jail. Now's your time to scream out from the top of your lungs, now's my time to shine.
Weakened from the wars, we face the new threats of the multiple upstart races. The Eldari, the Krork, and so many more. The Silent King decided our fate. We were to wait in silence as our armies rebuilt. We need not fear time like our puny carbon-based enemies. It is during this time the Eldari developed their technology at an exponential rate, becoming the dominant force in the universe. It seemed they had advanced their species to immortality, but how long could they sustain their own desires? I admit, I am partial to the Eldari. Their great works are unrivaled. Their ability to will a world into being is haunting. We must speak about the so-called...
Yes! All right, Trazyn. The human element. Talk about us, prehistoric man.
human element, as their empires take up many halls of my museum. Though sometimes unhinged and unpredictable, they are interesting and present true promise for us. We will cover much of their history, difficult as it is with the conflicting dates set by the Imperium itself. But no matter, we will account their records from our own sources. Imperial records will be our guide, or should I say, those Imperial records which I have procured will be our guide. I always found them to be of great amusement. They had begun on a small Class 54415 planet, on the edge of the galactic arm of the Milky Way. They had first crawled from the primordial ooze as advanced water-based life. To think that glorified fish now wrap the galaxy in an iron fist is enough to burn my central processors to solder. However, as we slept, these fish people became baseline primates, Class 4 beings. For much of their early existence, the primitives accomplished little. It was their use of tools that separated them from the other animals of creation. From the first moment a cave-dwelling savage struck a porcine variant with a rock, it was all over. Slowly, they invented pottery and the bringer of security, that is fire.
What I found interesting is, there's an exhibit at the Field Museum too that talks about Native Americans here in North America, and it starts off in like 10,000 BC, 12,000 BC, where the intro video, I don't know if they updated it or not, but it shows like woolly mammoths or mastodons walking through a forest somewhere in North America. And I have to say, humanity in general, no matter where we were at, 10,000, 12,000 BC, it is incredible what our ancestors did in antiquity to survive and for us to get to this point now. Know this, if you are breathing and living right now, your descendants, your ancestors were hardcore MFers. To survive now, for all of us to be here now, it is a journey and a story. So, yes, you can make an impact in history. It's just incredible where we started from and where we're at now. Here's hoping we go to the stars and not nuke ourselves.
It was then that the warp entities had emerged from the void, the first knowledge of the immaterial.
Chaos!
The damage from our wars against gods had ripped wounds in the universe. From these wounds came the apparent gods, extremely powerful creatures that bask in the souls of the dead, growing ever in power.
Hypocrites through and through. They will be stopped. Korn, Slanesh, Tzinch, Nurgle. Hello? What? There's no fifth Chaos God. There is no fifth Chaos God. All four of you will be defeated. That's right. I'm talking smack. Korn, why don't you go ahead and eat some cornflakes? Slanesh, go in the dumpster where you belong. Nurgle, you are the dumpster. Go away. And Tzinch, hey, nerd, go read another book. That's right. That's right. I'm talking smack about them. Long live Malal. What? There is no fifth Chaos God. I did not say long live Malal. I did not say that. Okay, cool. I did not say that.
The mortals referred to the beings as the Chaos Gods. They were named Korn, Tzinch, and Nurgle. What are three more pathetic void beings against the might of this galaxy? We have killed greater beings before.
Oh!
We have to do so again. It is at this point that the Aldari...
Trazyn talking some smack. Ah, Chaos Gods. He said that you're nothing, which is what you are. Except for the fifth one. What? Nothing. I said there was no fifth Chaos God. I promise. There is no fifth Chaos God. Let me go fix my mic because I accidentally knocked it loose. There is no fifth Chaos God. All right, there you go. All right. It is fixed.
They learned the secrets of the webway and continued their dominance of the stars. The imperial myth concerning the birth of their god emperor is as follows.
Imperial fact? Thank you.
Seeing the inevitable fate of humanity to be consumed by the chaos gods, a group of humanist shamans banded together to stop this future.
Yes.
They had devised a plan to save their species from the thirsting gods committing ritualized mass self-annihilation. As the shamans died and their souls entered the warp, the power of the souls overwhelmed the beings that inhabited that dead void. The soul of their soon-to-be emperor was birthed and made manifest in his physical form.
Glorious. Thank you, Trazyn, for that awesome introduction of our glorious God Emperor.
I must add here, this is perhaps one of my favorite twists of fate in all of history. deep within a black stone complex which crashed on Mars before the rise of humanity, is the Noctis Labyrinth. Within walls built 65 million years ago by us lies the ancient Void Dragon. Imperial myth tells us that it is believed that the Emperor conquered this dragon on Terra. After this defeat, it was imprisoned beneath Mars for all time.
You know, Voldemort, Lord Voldemort, he does a great Warhammer 40k channel as well. If you haven't subscribed to his YouTube channel, please do so. He did a fantastic narration of the Emperor facing off against a Void Dragon based on St. George. And I like to think, this is my perspective, that yes, the Emperor did face the Void Dragon. And as Voldemort said, in which I have to agree, it can be argued this is the one true good thing he has ever done, because the Emperor has done some very questionable things. But facing off against the Void Dragon and becoming the legend of St. George, I like that they connect that story into Warhammer 40k. And if you haven't seen that narration that Voldemort did, please check it out after this video. So there you go.
Little do they know, those red-robed clicking Iron Princes, that their Void Dragon is a Catan let loose by corrupted slumber codes. I wonder how they would react to the news that its real name is the Eater of Knowledge.
Hold on. Is that real, or is this just Trazyn just screwing around with us?
The humans began their empire on Terra. Their grasp of technology is slow. They spend much of their time throwing sharpened tree pieces at each other. Terra had a multitude of cultures, each one's god more important than the other. It was during this time that the Chaos Gods had fully awakened. With the abundance of new souls, the Chaos Gods had grown stronger. One human myth is that these events in their early years manifested the gods. Khorne was born in the charnel pits of millions of dead humans. Nurgle vomited into the universe in the wake of the vast catalogue of their illnesses. And Tzeentch during the artistic awakening periods of each unique Terran culture. How arrogant to think that the universe would notice their tiny conflicts.
While we might be small, we do make an impact. And that's right, even you, right now, are making an impact. The universe and world might say, oh, so insignificant, so small. They don't notice you until you're ready to strike. So, Trazyn, just going to add in my own creative notes is that, yeah, humanity's just that special. We're number one.
Humans had conquered their homeworld. They had experimented with the possibilities of
Oh, that is that. Holy cow! The Event Horizon. Now, this is something I've seen in the Warhammer 40k community too. And that is, some people have stated, again, it's not fully embraced, but that the film Event Horizon might be somewhat related to 40k, somewhat here or there, because let's just say if you haven't seen Event Horizon, that's what happens when you go through the warp without your Geller shields on. So, hey, be smart about it and wrap up your ship in a Geller in its Geller field. You don't want to be catching anything. That is great. WarriorTier, the fact that you put the Event Horizon in here, mwah, it's delicious. Well done. That's good stuff I like seeing. Well done. Well done. And I think there was another film, too, that's been discussed or maybe might have been considered being maybe Warhammer 40k related, and that was oh God. I'm not gonna remember the film by name because okay, my brain ain't working right. But it's set where it's on a ship that's underwater actually, but it's assumed that they're still traveling through the void, and one of the passengers wakes up. They have a coma. There's two passengers, and it turns out one of them is a saboteur, but also there were people still left alive in the ship, but they mutated into cannibals or something like that. And so yeah, that's another movie altogether. But yeah, if anyone knows the name of that film, type in the comment section below, because I think some Warhammer 40K fans said that film is also somewhat a 40K related film. Am I wrong about that? Type it in your comment section below. But also, what are your thoughts on Event Horizon? Because that film, if it's not a wink and a nod to 40K, I don't know what is.
Travel through the Immaterium, still unsure of how to harness.
Oh my God, they got to show the engine.
They had developed primitive.
Okay, I'm going to try and keep my pausing here at the minimum, but there's SpaceX right there. And I love it. We've all heard of Morphin Time. Hell, we have all heard of Morbin Time. But the fact that we got SpaceX there, 10 out of 10, life-changing video. It's Muskin time. Muskintime. Muskin time. It's Muskin time, folks. You know what? I want to see in the comment section below. 10 out of 10, life-changing video. It's Muskin time.
Spacefaring capabilities and set off to terraform their solar system. They have always been amusing creatures, thinking themselves masters of the cosmos.
Correct.
Even back when fire was their most advanced achievement.
Hey, fire can go a long way, Trazyn. Come on, stop hating.
In essence, they are simple jellyfish, a travesty of nerves that stems from an inferior brain, piloting a suit of bone, wrapped in decaying meat.
Okay, tell us how you really feel, Trazyn. Okay? Tell us how you really feel.
It is their arrogance that I enjoy so much. They were never meant for the stars, yet they do all to conquer each parsec. They fight amongst themselves more than any enemy. Tranquility makes them squirm. They lived for war. The humans built colonies throughout their nearest worlds, a slow process due to their primitive spacecraft. They continue to do what they do best, build and breed.
Build and breed. It's breeding time. It's musket time, it's breeding time. Tell us how you really feel, Trazyn.
Worlds are terraformed and colonized. Sublight travel was their archaic way of colonization, each colony drifting farther from the home world of Terra. Overexpansion resulted in loss of communication. It was only a matter of time before this formula would collapse into bedlam and chaos. As the years drifted on, countless interstellar empires emerged, trading throughout the galaxies. Most of these supposed empires bore me. They prosper for such short spans of time. One does not even need to remember their futile existence. The humans furthered their grasp on nature.
It does call into question about what humanity was like when we were colonizing these other spaces. And again, what I do find interesting, and again, Warhammer 40K community, I need you to correct me on this, because I have brought this up to some of my friends before in regards to my perspective of Warhammer 40K and the influence of the Emperor into our species. Now, obviously, Star Wars humans are capable of space travel. In Star Trek, well, at least according to the original series in 1999, we had World War III. And it was because of the Vulcans we were able to get into space. But the thing is, with all the knowledge that we know now about, well, weapons of mass destruction, if there was ever to be World War III where the nukes are flying, we will never again be able to achieve this point of technology that we're at right now. And so this is my theory, and I'm probably wrong on this, but I believe that humanity did not have a nuclear war in the Warhammer 40K timeline, and the Emperor did help contribute into making sure that didn't happen, because with the amount of resources and technology that is needed for the sublight travel, because we don't have access to the warp yet, and humans are sending out these seed ships to colonize these distant worlds. You have to maintain infrastructure and technology, and if we were to vaporize ourselves with the nukes, even now it would be impossible for us to get back to where we're at now. The survivors would envy the dead. So again, what do you think? Because the way this is being described, and the way I've seen Warhammer 40K even describe the humans before the Emperor, we had sublight technology, and then later on, as soon as we got the ability to travel through the warp, we were able to create some kind of Federation-type empire. So it is curious to know about the different factions that existed and how we eventually built that interstellar empire before the Imperium in the Dark Age of technology. Again, let's all be respectful to everyone's opinions, and if I'm wrong in any which way, please someone correct me. But again, just saying this one more time, I don't think we had World War III in the 40K timeline. I don't think the Emperor would allow that to happen.
Bending any resources they could find to their greed. Colonies stretched into the vast reaches of solar systems, overextending their empire. The myths of the Emperor continue to grow. It is said the Emperor arrived on Molech and found a portal into the Immaterium. A deal was made with the Chaos Gods for the gift of knowledge of warpcraft, allowing the Emperor to create the Primarchs.
All right, sorry, I'm trying to keep my pausing to a minimum here. All right, the Chaos Gods say that the Emperor tricked them. Here's my theory on this, on what happened. I think the Emperor found the last vestige of good in the warp. That was originally what the old ones used to use, and he absorbed it and took it. And for that, the Chaos Gods are saying that he cheated and he lied to them. So he might have talked to them. But I think the Emperor played a game in which he was able to find what the Chaos Gods were originally looking for. Again, if I'm wrong on this, correct me. But I don't believe that the Chaos Gods had a deal with the Emperor or that he cheated them. I think from their perspective, they think he cheated them.
The Eldar Empire had grown into the most advanced civilization in the universe. They had achieved the apex of technology, creating their own desires from will alone. Lesser races proved no threat to their domination of the stars. The human gene saw an evolutionary jump. There were sudden appearances of psychers, as they call them, cursed individuals who can draw power from the Immaterium. Humans who developed the navigator gene allowed the first human navigators to make the passage through the warp. The great navigator bloodlines controlled warp travel. The humans continued to explore and colonize all that they found. Treaties were signed with dozens of Xeno races. It was truly a golden age for humanity. Technology often gets the better of the primitive species that craft it. The promises of comfort and ease of existence has led to the downfall of dozens of species.
Great, it's ChatGPT. It finally had enough of our BS.
It was then that man's greatest creations.
Okay, what I do find funny is that the robots that are standing above the human have robot boobs. Just throwing all in all, great. I love this video. It is truly great. I just I think the sex bots are having their own revolution, so they're kind of upset, but just noticing that.
Their slaves turned on them.
Why was that the first thing you noticed, Kit?
Masters in force. The cybernetic revolt, as it was once called, started with the Men of Iron.
How dare they?
Anarchy ripped throughout all of humanity. The golden age of humanity ended in brutality. Who knows how many billions lost their lives, or what technology was destroyed in the process. Across the stars, another empire fell to time. The Eldar had enjoyed their moment of success. Technology was not their downfall. Their own desires tore them apart. Sheer physical impulses and depravity broke them. Their yearning for lust and pleasure cursed their kind. The being that spawned from their depravity forever changed the course of the stars. It was then that the being known as Slaanesh came to be. The Eye of Terror that came to be from the creation of Slaanesh obliterated almost all of the Eldar. She who thirsts, as some have called Slaanesh, feasted on billions of Eldari souls. Some of the Eldari foresaw the dark future and left their homeworlds behind. The craft worlds were all that was left of them now. Vast, floating cities that are slowly fading away. As a fan of theatrical renditions of historical events, I find the performances from this era to be especially entertaining.
Trazyn throwing a little bit of shade at the Eldar. I like that. I like that. Well done. Well done, Trazyn.
The humans had peaked in their scientific advances. The historical blueprints, or as they are more commonly known, the standard template constructs, became the database of all human technology. Humanity was plagued with warp storms that appeared throughout the far reaches of the galaxy. Warp travel was impossible, and the colonies began to erode. This is a difficult time for my collection. Almost all the important artifacts had been stolen by that damned Mechanicus. If only I were awake during this time. The humans are easy candidates for the corruptive powers that inhabit the warp. Through the warp storms, psychic energy flowed into space. The weaker of humanity's psykers suffered from demonic possession. The human race tore itself apart. The Emperor of Mankind began his plans for domination.
There we go.
He began work on creating the gene seeds that would lead to the formation of his 20 sons, or as they are more commonly referred to,
How do you know there's 20 sons, Trazyn? Who told you that?
Primarchs. Imperial record fails to state exactly how this event occurred. It only states the Primarch embryos were scattered throughout the galaxy. All blame is laid at the feet of the Chaos Gods for this deed.
It's actually their mom that did it. She's the one who did it. Oh, she was perpetual, just so upset with the Emperor. It's their mom.
But who can really say? The Emperor set out on his quest to find the missing Primarchs.
As he should.
My sleep was suddenly over. Myself and other High Lords awakened from our slumber. My initial excitement evaporated as the realization of how much time had passed. I had to continue my work. It was my duty to my dynasty to store the relics of our past.
Glorious.
Even that miserable little pile of secrets Urakin was awakened.
Hashtag organs of punk. Trazyn. Just so you know, if you ever choose to comment on any of our channels, know this. Chicago Reacts respects Trazyn the Infinite. Trazyn the Infinite is an ally to Chicago Reacts. Consider this be an olive branch of peace, because that Urakin... Man, Urakin, you're a punk.
However, this was not our time to reclaim our galaxy. What a time to be awake, to witness this short era of grandeur. This story of this era contains artifacts that are amongst my favorites in all of my museum. The warp storms that plagued mankind for over 5,000 years drifted away. The Emperor of Mankind was known as the greatest psyker in history.
Correct.
He united the people under his rule during the Unification Wars. He made a pact with the cult Mechanicus on Mars. He expanded the human empire while discovering his wayward sons. The blood that was spilled was that of legend. The humans had set to take hold of the galaxy,
Yeah.
swallowing everything in their path.
Yeah!
Unity was always their strength. Yet, they denied it at every chance they could. The Emperor was the key to their survival. He colored his legions and sent his sons to fight his wars.
Glorious.
I witnessed such glorious battles during this period.
Yes! How glorious.
So much occurred during these times. So much to record, to document, to preserve. The artifacts from this era are amongst some of my favorites. The Primarchs had been found and sent on their various quests for the Emperor.
13th Legion, Lord Commander Reboot Gilliman. Though I think this is a picture of from a different era, probably era Indominus, due to a Grey Knight being there, and a member of the Black Templar.
The Great Crusade had come to an end.
Oh.
Humanity had become the dominant life in the universe.
Yep.
Imperial history recording events during these times had been subverted. So much has been altered to appease the masses, to appease the Inquisition and the religious maniacs. What is known as fact is the Emperor's favorite son,
Horus,
had betrayed the Emperor. He and half of his brothers rebelled against the Imperium, and I was there to see it play out.
Horus, the little punk.
The Battle of Istvan III was where the treachery transpired, with blade and firearm. To see the armored warriors battle, brother against brother, it was as beautiful as it was tragic.
Yes. Oh, Fulgrim, slaying Ferrus Manus.
I remember being impressed by the humans. My theory of their hatred of peace was proven once again. How they loved to fight. The eternal war had begun. Above Terra, another civil war had already begun brewing. The Mechanicum split into two. The Red Robes believe in a being they named the Omnisire. Many believe the Emperor was not the true avatar of the machine god.
Traitors.
Many believe that the Emperor is, in fact, the Omnisire made flesh. An epic battle took place above what the humans had once called the Earth. The traitor sons of the Emperor invaded the human homeworld. They had come to kill the Emperor and take control of the Imperium. This was a staggering battle for beings such as humans. The final battle occurred between Horus and the Emperor.
Oh, Sanguinius. Oh, poor Sanguinius. And there's Horus, the traitor.
After millions were killed by their blood brothers, the final blows were landed by the Emperor and his favorite son Horus. A clash that left the Emperor fatally wounded. It is a shame what happened. The Emperor slew Horus, who, in fairness, had it coming.
Yep.
Much to my annoyance, those loyal to Horus managed to steal his remains away. How I wished to have Horus's armor in my collection.
Trazyn. All right. In case you may not know, the Emperor basically did a Control-Alt-Delete on Horus. So, unless you want to call up your friend Fabius Bile and ask him to clone you another Horus, because I know you have Fulgrim, or Clone Grim as he's called, buddy, you ain't going to get that armor, okay? So there you go. You learned that from this human right here.
I have spent many centuries harvesting rumors of the remains of the arch-traitor. The fatally wounded Emperor was interred in the Golden Throne, a technological marvel from humanity's old world. Technology the Mechanicus hardly understood. This was the end of the human reign of superiority. It had come to a glorious finale. The fact that I'm reasonably confident that the Golden Throne is our technology is not important.
Excuse me, whoa!
The times following the Horus heresy were boring in comparison. Humans fell back once again into predictability.
The return of Gilliman. But another thing, too, what do you mean that's your technology, buddy? Do you care to elaborate just a little bit more on that?
It was black or white from then on. The Loyalists gradually reclaimed the Imperium, pushing the traitor forces that aligned with the Chaos Gods back into the warp. The 9 Loyalist Space Marine legions are divided and began their own quests throughout the galaxy. The humans desperately wanted their place at the top. As they struggled, other races grew in strength across the galaxy. The Drukhari had formed back when Slaanesh the Depraved was birthed. They saw the event as inevitable and accepted their evolutionary destiny.
Ugh.
They are a brutal race, arrogant, hedonist, and vile for the sake of nefariousness.
Agreed.
There were none in the galaxy who rivaled their cruelty. A slave in the city of Komorra named Vect swore to be the ruler of the Dark City. He was ambitious and founded his own group known as the Cult of the Black Heart. With a devious plan, he betrayed the leaders of Komorra and had the humans kill his enemies. With the leaders weakened, Vect took power and led the Dark Eldar. What he led them towards is unknown. These beasts created nothing, they offered nothing.
Yep.
They reveled in suffering just as the Catan did. They are beneath our regard.
Agreed.
Have earned our disgust.
Yes, agreed.
The Orcs
The Drukhari are nothing but filth. They're just functioning crack addicts, and that's all what they are.
attempted to claim their position at the top of the evolutionary chain. The ancient race had swelled in numbers over the millennia. An orc war boss known as the Beast built an impressive army that rampaged the universe. It was during this time that the Greenskins became a threat to all. I find them to be similar in some ways to the humans, warring against each other, obsessed with power, obsessed with what both races call loot. Loot. What a crude word. Both believe their technology to be superior to all. Another life form that idolizes the spirit of war, the Astartes, were able to stop the Green Wave, at great costs, however. A new species emerged from the dust of the cosmos. The Flesh Robotics first discovered the Tau on a distant world. The Adeptus Mechanicus ship, Land's Vision, found the primitive species. The blue creatures were simple in nature, having
Those are crude.
only learned to use simple tools and fire. Simple creatures that were of no threat, but still, their elimination was ordered as they were to be destroyed for the good of the Imperium.
As they should.
Before the planet could be annihilated, it was surrounded by a violent warp storm. The wars soon to take place changed the fate of their world. The Imperium abandoned their plans for colonization and left the species to their fate. I am sure the Imperium uses this story to drive their agendas. The Tau were able to unite under one banner. They claimed to stand for the cause of the greater good,
Ah!
a seemingly effective form of governance. As the centuries passed, the Tau built their empire, diving into different castes. You may encounter them. They will speak of all these castes, bar one, the Ethereals. These ruling beings are conveniently forgotten about in the Tau propaganda.
Ha. You know, again, looking at that older picture of the WarriorTier and the Tau, there's some shocking similarities there. But we can never forget what the Tau did to Kitten, our favorite custodian. One of their members. She broke his heart. That's what she did. We can never forget what the Tau did. And I don't care about her perspective. She broke Kitten's heart.
These faceless elites are the true ruling class of the Tau. The Fire Caste are the fist used to quell rebellion. The Earth Caste show off their medical capabilities to lowly serfs. The Air Caste blockade worlds and offer free transports. And of course, the Water Caste, those silver-tongued diplomats. They promise so much to anyone with the oral receptors to hear. These upstart fledgling fools must learn to tread carefully. They do not have the ability to confront the Imperium that they berate.
Yep.
Only Father Time will tell whether these masters of masquerade will live or die. Another rise in power for the awful orcs. Centuries of crusading had weakened the Imperium. Humanity teetered on the verge of collapse. The orc invasions were relentless. Even worse, the more the orcs suffered, the more they grew. Countless star systems fell to the green wave. It is their chaotic nature that holds them back from remaining atop their evolutionary chain. A culture predicated on the desire to be bigger and stronger than the rest can only go so far without true governance. Even with their simplicity, the damage they caused almost destroyed the humans.
But we still stand. Armageddon still stands.
It was not our time to rise. Our armies were set to awake at a later date. However, our tomb worlds were invaded by the Adeptus Mechanicus on their quest to find the lost standard template constructs. They discovered our tomb worlds. Their curiosity and their degradation of the slumber protocols led to countless members of our race awakening. 65 million years of slumber. It was our time to rule the galaxy once more, to reclaim what we had died for. Our metallic bodies regenerated. Our weaponry was to mortals what the storm was to the stone. More of our tombs were awakened. Our armies began their conquest. The Silent King took back his rightful seat on the throne.
But one must ask, when did he meet Sanguinius?
It is our time once again. How the humans love to hold their martyrs up for all to see.
Yes.
No single world is a greater martyr than Cadia.
Cadia is here. When everyone points to where in the star maps where Cadia is at, you point to your heart. Cadia is here. Oh, sweet Cadia. The planet broke before the guard did.
In truth, I had believed the Terran method of time recording, BC, stood for before Cadia. They speak of this planet so often during battle. It was a world of much importance to the Imperium, and to be frank, the galaxy. The fall of Cadia is a loss. It was a weapon designed to remove the warp from our reality. Its loss must be lamented.
It must be.
During the 13th Black Crusade,
Lord Phaladon. Oh, and by the way, yes, Lord Phaladon, I'm going to call you out. You still can't win without giving all your soul to Chaos and the Chaos Gods. They're just not going to give it to you, buddy. You're going to end up just like your dear old Papa Horus.
the War Master of Chaos, Abaddon the Despoiler,
Lord Phaladon, that's what his name is.
launched a massive assault against the Loyalists. A unfathomable war broke out, and the planet was eventually destroyed. It was a significant loss for the Imperium, losing such a beautiful world to their own traitorous kind.
Traitors! Traitors!
One of the greater threats faced by the mortal races of the galaxy are the beings we labeled the Great Devourers, the Tyranids. The humans named them the Tyranids after their attack and consumption of Tyrant Primus. Revolting insectoid creatures that swarm world after world, consuming everything that stands in their path. All life is consumed by these creatures, consumed, studied, and improved on. Though they appear as mindless animals, they are sublimely clever beings. They have demonstrable hierarchies. They adapt and evolve in the moment to conquer any situation. Little is known of their history. There are no records of them before the Great Sleep. They appeared from the deepest reaches of space. The humans first discovered the creatures in the eastern fringes. Rumor has been said that they were first seen by the Inquisition as far back as the 35th millennium. Speculation and rumors, of course, but I still enjoy this discord. It is said that they have begun to surround our galaxy, ready to unleash their own conquest, after being drawn by the Emperor's light within the void. I cannot say if this is true or not.
Oh my goodness.
Others believe they are being pushed back, chased into our regions of space. All of this poses a great question. Are these beasts coming to this galaxy after having consumed everything they could in their own? Or, and this is not the ideal case, are they running from something greater?
Oh, how frightening that would be.
If they continue their rude interruption of the drama that is the galaxy's unfolding history, I may have to add a new section to the gallery. Perhaps I will name it A Brief History of the Tyrannid Species.
Seems like a fascinating exhibit.
The universe is at unrest. The rapidly growing threats to the galaxies have increased as the weak find power. All of us are grasping for our rightful place on the throne of the universe. All empires rise and fall. It is the destiny of all life to fade away. Life is a struggle for all who have fought to survive. Even the smallest of life forms face this turmoil.
True.
The weak become dust in the infinite darkness, never to be remembered. To rank which species stand at the top would be irrelevant in the current turmoil. They all cling to their spot, each battle and war gaining favor, or falling to the side to rise again. The great empires of the past have all earned their place in my halls. They each have a place in the history of the galaxy. The future of the universe will continue. Others will try to gain their spot, as did all the great empires of the past. It is a pitiful attempt. All life will wither and die. There is only one race that will succeed them all. We are immortal. We have learned from our mistake. We will rule our galaxy once again. But humanity, in its rapidly breeding expansion, has offered us what we never thought possible. A means to return to the flesh times. We are the infinite.
Wow. Seriously, great stuff. I truly am impressed with what I just saw here in regards to Warhammer 40k content. The narrator is Matthew J. Plum, being the voice of Trazyn the Infant. First of all, to the entire team of WarriorTier, what a fantastic video. That even plucked at my old heartstrings here and there, so I had to keep it together just a little bit because brought back memories of going to the museums here in Chicago with my grandfather and, just looking at history. Seriously fantastic. I have to say that this is a great addition to Warhammer 40k content and lore and to the community. If you're not subscribed to WarriorTier, please check them out. They're a growing channel, and I really like the work that they're doing. Can't say enough good things about them. And as a side note, Trazyn, you always got a spot here at Chicago Reacts, and I think you're a little bit off here on the notes. Humanity first, always. So there you go. We will not go quietly into that night. We will keep on raging against the machine, raging against the night. And again, the original link to this video is in the description box below. Please support the original content creators. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Chicago Reacts. If this is the kind of content you guys and gals like, please type it in the comment section below. We do need your feedback. We are a growing channel, and look how far we have grown. Hey, let's look at the timeline of Chicago Reacts, right? You guys have been building this channel up, and we cannot thank you enough. So your support, your feedback is essential for our growth, so that way we know what all of you like. So there you go. But with that being said, folks, I'm out of here. Take good care, and I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. I apologize if I might have paused a little bit too much, But I wanted to make sure that we all just sat back and enjoyed this. I want to add in my commentary here and there. But again, 10 out of 10, great video. 10 out of 10, life-changing video. It's Muskin time. Take care, folks. Oops. Oh, wait, that's not the wrong. This is the button. Take care, folks.